Welcome. Today's topic is human life and violence, which is a huge problem in the United States. If you watch the news on a daily basis, you see cases of crime, attempted murder, and actual murder. Just a few days ago, a fast food worker was killed over a disagreement for onion rings. Um, Humans are still doing what they did in the past, destroy humans. It seems like it's something that we just cannot get away from. And it seems like other people are allowing the how happen because it actually is profitable. We're not going to really go into the profitable side. We're just going to just talk about human behavior and why accountability is needed and what accountability can be used to kind of deter this. So I'm going to break down why violent crime is so high and how this connects to a bigger global pattern where human life is often undervalued. We're looking at wars, domestic tragedies, culture factors, and what really means when a society fails to protect and value life. There are no chosen people on this planet. I know there's a group of people that calls themselves the chosen people by God, but the way nature sees us is as species. We are the chosen species of the planet. We were given extreme memory, thought pattern, and learning capabilities to rule over the earth and to help the living things continue to thrive on this planet. Humans understand that the world changes. We have the capability of shaping the land around it. We can change deserts into thriving grasslands with vegetation. We know how to do that, even though we're not doing it. In some places we are, some places we're not. We know how to take the salt water, turn it to fresh water, so other life can live from it. We understand human overpopulation. We understand that the planet is getting hotter. We actually do know how to cool it, but it's very expensive to do so. So we have control over this planet, but nature still has control over us. When you look at the numbers, the US stands out among developed nations for violent crime, but this isn't random. It's connected to deeper issues. When a society does not consistently value human life, violence becomes more common, which is happening. And this isn't just an American problem, it's happening worldwide. Human life has been devalued. The reason why I would say this is how murder and things connected to murder is punished. And also, not just murder, it's just the loss of human life, the way that it is just talked about, in some cases, just glazed over. Let me give you a big example. Do you know in the 1980s, drug companies sold medicine they knew some of it contained the AIDS virus overseas to make money? They knew that if they sold it in the United States and was found, they could have great fines, and that's kind of crazy that all thing they were worried about was fines. And of course, a commercial. Dang it, Mr. Kitty. I love this soundtrack. But back to what I was talking about. Okay, so basically, yeah, in the 1980s, it was known that a lot of people that have trouble stopping bleeding, like they can't clot, hemophiliacs. Yes, so it was discovered that the AIDS virus was in those medicines. They were blood medicines because it was in the blood. So instead of just destroying all the medicine and starting over, they sold it overseas, in Africa, in Asia. And that's how it spread all the way out there. They don't talk about that today because profits over people. Okay. Human on human violence has been around since the beginning of time. But we are supposed to be better now. We are supposed to have evolved out, but it still continues. In some cases, it's justified when it shouldn't be. This is not just a US problem, but global, as stated before. Currently, right now, 2026, we have a lot of wars going on. We have Russian and Ukraine soldiers and other people fighting, killing each other. And when you look at the root core of it, it's just simply because of old men wanting to say that they are right. I am right is the most dangerous thing when it comes to war. And that's why people describe war, we are right. Because humans think that they're the ones right. Same situation in Israel and Gaza, which also now includes Lebanon. They are dropping bombs, killing people, killing children, starving people out. And no, we're here to protect ourselves because what happened on October 7th. But what happened before October 7th? Once again, old men, we are right. Humans. Me killing these other humans is right because they would kill me, but then those other humans saying, oh, okay, I have to kill them because they would kill me, and it's without thought. There are solutions to this, but the war profiteers want to keep this going. It would not surprise me if it ever came out in 100 years that Israel was supplying Hezbollah with rockets. It was Israel that was surprising Lebanon with rockets to shoot into Israel. That way, the money would continue to go to the defense contractors and military and people that profit from it. The Sudan war, currently, the next one, we know is over gold. Once again, we are right. And other countries are helping it. Millions of people are displaced, many people are dying, and the people that are supplying this, they don't care because they are farther away. The UAE is heavily involved in this war. The gold is funded through the Gulf Coast. Speaking of the Gulf, it's not listed here, but we also have the American, Israel, once again Israel admitted, Iran war that is going on. It is a war. The only good thing about it is it has weakened the UAE's ability to help supply the war in Sudan, which may bring the war in Sudan to an end because the rebels will not be supplied by the UAE anymore. But that's just the Israel-Iran war. They sent a missile, killed a bunch of school children, but they just talk over it. Oh yeah, it may have been us. Okay, next. It's just like real quick, next. You killed over 100 school children, little girls that, and it's just looked past like nothing. Of course, the Congo. People want cheap cell phones. That means people in the Congo must suffer and die, but it's also not just on people, it's on the people of Congo to realize their value. But once again, I'm right. They're fighting over who's right, and people in the middle are being exploited. We are still in the dark ages. Whether it be in the world of war and military or the civilian world, violence is violence. And it has its effects. Normalization of violence, constant media exposure to global conflict, and desensitizes populations. When violence is constantly in the news, in politics, in entertainment, it becomes part of the background noise. Wars drain resources from mental health, education, and community support. Veterans come home with trauma, and that trauma causes them to act violently in their home society. People become desensitized. Global instability does not stay global. It shapes the mindset of an entire society, including ours. Again, the desensitization is what is happening. Now, let's take a look at the United States. Recently, we have seen the murders of two rappers Takeoff and Young Dolph, two very popular rap artists. And that was kind of glossed over. As rappers is what happens, but if you see the way they died and the reason they died, it is really sad and juvenile. Takeoff was killed during a dice game argument. Young Dolph was killed because of he got into an argument with another rapper, and people just did not like him. But that's seen as normal because they're rappers. In some cases, all these rappers that are dying aren't even rappers. They're actually criminals pretending to be rappers, and they just happen to be killed, and they just throw the name rapper on it just to get advertisement and attention. Once again, that's how people profit off of murder. Young rapper died. The person has never had an album, or even if they did have an album, you can just listen to their music and see that they are not artists. They are not into music. They were just a person talking and somebody threw some music in the background. There's a difference. One second, I got some static. All right, better. Okay, now we're going to switch to another case. We have the 7-year-old little girl that was murdered by the FedEx driver. Just look this story up. Her name is Athena Strand. Just look, it's very sad. And my question is, why is this person still breathing? That is for blatant murder. Yes, we'll come back to that. And then also, we have the Ukrainian woman, Iryna Zarutska in Charlotte. She was murdered just riding the subway, going home, and she was murdered. And of course, we have the 1,000 stories. You can see them on YouTube of spouses killing other spouses or attempting to murder their spouse. It is growing. And I know just having it on YouTube may just bring more attention. It may have already been happening, but now because we have video evidence and also things can be hyped up, but we can see what people are doing. But it is a problem. Violence is everywhere. It affects every age, every race, and every community. Doesn't matter where you are. Gun violence and violence occurs in lower income areas and broken homes full of trauma, which is a true statement. But violence also occurs in very wealthy. You see how Rob Schreiner was killed by his son. Very wealthy family, and his son still killed him. In the US, people often turn to violence to solve conflict. Guns are everywhere, which makes every argument potential or deadly. Domestic violence is widespread. I gotta stop it with these commercials. Let me just get that out. Okay, so let's take that back to the top. In the US, people often turn to violence, solve conflict. Guns are everywhere, which makes every argument deadly. Domestic violence is widespread. Economic stress pushes people to the edge, and social isolation means fewer support systems. These patterns shows violence isn't just a crime problem, it's a cultural and structural problem. And I'm gonna speak on that culturally and structural. There are people that just believe that things are happening and it's a certain way things need to go. Look at the situation with the Pooh Shiesty Gucci Man, where Pooh Shiesty supposedly and his crew robbed Gucci Man and his friends. And people are saying, they're yelling at Gucci, how dare you go to the police? I definitely would have gone to the police. Pooh Shiesty is a problem for the community. Just gets out of jail, has some money, no need to rob people. And he's wearing an ankle monitor. It's an ideology. I'm not even gonna say culture, it's an ideology of stupidity. Not thinking. And that's the biggest thing, not thinking, but also the punishment should go to make people think. But we're going to talk about that under accountability. Life is hard, but humans can do things to make it safer. Not remove from it being hard, but make it safer. When you have extreme equality, not just equality of money, but equality of mind, ways of thinking. People start living in survival mode. When healthcare depends on income, it signals that some lives matter more than others, which is true. In some cases where people have money, they can get access to better health care to save them. Um, when schools and community are weak-minded, which means the community has a very weak mind on society and how the world should be, and the school system also teaches the same thing if they have time to teach. With lack of thought, violence would rise. When humans get frustrated because they don't understand what's going on, some people are just violent because they were beaten as children or just beaten, and that made them very violent from it. Violence creates violence, trauma creates violence. But in some cases, violence comes out of frustration. Our justice system focuses on punishment. Um, our justice system focuses more on punishment, not prevention. But that is the job of the justice system, is punishment. Prevention is a different department. Well, I guess you can say it's a part of the justice system, but it's different. But the cycle is going to continue because we look for the justice system to go. But justice system is usually after the fact. Prevention, to me, should come out of the education system. In some cases, for these crimes, punishment does not happen. There are many unsolved murder cases on it. But punishment is a big need, but prevention is a stronger need. We see images of death and violence every day. It's time to make serious, strong changes to severely lower murder and attempted murders. And how you do that is you also show images of punishment for committing the violence act. You show the violent act all the time, but you should show also punishments for those violent crimes to counter the images of death and violence. Yeah, people running around showing guns, making it look cool, shooting guns. Which, shooting a gun, everybody should know how to do that. Self preservation is a big thing, and everybody should be able to defend themselves. Kind of already touched on this, but one thing I would say, hyper individualism is something that is very strong in the U.S. culture. So if everything's about me, when something's done to me, I have the right to strike back at any means that I have. American culture is saturated with violence, movies, music, games, and news. We are also extremely individualistic, which weakens community bonds. Community is dying. There's very few communities in the United States now. It's only individuals, individual homes. Neighborhoods are dying, mainly also because people have to move due to employment. More empathy is needed. With all that been said about what causes the issue, this does not mean that accountability is not there. This one's going to take a sec. Okay. One argument is that the justice system needs to send a strong message that taking a human life is the most serious crime. It is a very serious crime. And lately, the punishment has not fitted the crime. So, first of all, the taking of a human life by another human is automatically should be a federal crime, investigated by the FBI after local, state, and police have completed the investigation. For example, you have a drive-by shooting where a gang member shoots another gang member. The local police they arrest the people that did the crime. They do a full investigation, and then you have the FBI team that comes in and does a more thorough investigation to make sure that the right people were captured. We are sure this is the person that carried this out. This is the person that ordered this. And in some cases, the reason why this happened. That would lead back to help with prevention. And the reason why you need that is because we would change the punishment for it. I believe the punishment for first-degree murder should be the death penalty carried out within 1 year, rather than allowing an individual to remain on death row for decades. No one should just sit on death row for 30 years after taking someone's life. Premeditated. Not defending themselves, premeditated. That's just what they want to do, and they had no remorse for it. That person did nothing to them. Second degree murder should result in either the death penalty or life imprisonment. Felony murder should result in life imprisonment in a single occupancy cell with only books allowed, 1 good meal a day, 2 hours of yard time alone. Just you and your books. Voluntary and involuntary manslaughter should be handled on a case-by-case basis. Criminal negligent homicide should result in time in a work camp or life imprisonment. In the work camp, it would be hard labor. But the person actually can earn some money, so when they get out, they can do something. But it would be true punishment that benefits society and actually the person that did the crime. They might actually learn a skill, so if they get out of jail, they know something to do. Self-defense cases must be thoroughly investigated and judged carefully, as people have the right to protect themselves. And also, I'm going to throw another one, which is a violent crime, but it's not really seen as a violent crime. Sex crimes. Sex crimes may result in a death penalty or life imprisonment, but must be investigated thoroughly. False accusations must be taken very seriously. It can't be where saying somebody can just say you did something and find out that you didn't do it just because they didn't like you, and that person that accused you just gets to walk free. No. Something's going to happen to you for false accusations. We have to do something to show that crime it's not okay. And humans must know there's punishment. It's the only way. The biggest prevention is showing that there will be a punishment, a harsh punishment, something that people cannot get used to. To me, the biggest punishment for humans is having them alone. And that's where it goes into that. Human societies are held together by thought, thinking about what has happened in the past, improving, work. Humans need to work. They need to use energy. Our job is to work, building things, changing things, planning things, teaching, work. Reward. We like rewards, especially when we worked hard for it. It makes us feel better. When things are just given to us, we take it lightly. But when we work hard, something like I paid off, I worked hard, saved the money, and I bought a house. Or what's even more rewarding is building your own home and knowing how to do it. But also we need rules. But the problem is there's so much breaking of the rules, especially in government. So it's supposed to be the higher moral people. They're the number one rule breakers. And we also need punishment. So thought, work, reward, rules, and punishment is what holds a society together. But punishment alone is not enough. We need mental health support, which means understanding the human mind. Being able to help people that are at the breaking point to where they're just going to crash out and prevent it. Trauma. People that have been in trauma. You have children right now that are being beaten as I speak in their home. They're being mistreated at very young ages. Their minds are being destroyed before they're even able to really fully develop their brain. Conflict resolution programs is something that should be in every school system at a very young age. Economic opportunities and I mean opportunity, not giving. The United States economy is very bad right now. They know how to improve it, but it would be less money for billionaires to bring a lot of those factory jobs back to the United States, where we can manufacture things in-house. It is always better for a society if they manufacture things inside and learn how to take care of themselves. Every human society has had villages and own different groups and stuff, and they have to be self-sufficient. They're trying to do this global thing, but you can have global, but it should also have local country control. That's a different story, though. That's about education. But it must be known that we need to reduce violence, and we can. We have to show that it's not cool. The best thing to do is walk away and get on with your life. Violence acts should be the last resort only in self defense. Because violence in the US isn't just a crime issue, it's a reflection of how we value human life. From wars overseas to murders at home, the message is often the same: life is not protected the way it should be. But we can change that. We need to invest more in people. It would take people with, such as billionaires, but I think it's some way that they're controlled to things that what they can do. I don't think all billionaires, all that money is even theirs, because it just doesn't make sense how people with billions of dollars don't invest in at least their own neighborhoods, or at least their own cities. Like, we have all these billionaire techs in San Francisco. Oakland should be beautiful, but they don't invest in the city. They just take and leave. It's very weird. But if you were to, I believe if I were to learn really what goes on and how people become billionaires and stuff, I would find out that a lot of people that said are worth billions really aren't. It's only on paper. A lot of people don't know this. You have to take some accounting classes to know it, that people can hold money in bank accounts under the name that is not their money. Just an example. Once again, life has value. Life has value. Life is the ultimate value, more than money. You can just easy calculate that. Tell a person, I will give you $100 million, but you can only live for the next 2 years. Or you can have no money and live for the next 20 years. The person would choose to live for the next 20 years than just $100 million to live for the next 2 years. That shows right there how life is more valuable. In other words, health is wealth. All right, thank you.